Hello, this is Kylie from Hello Crafter and welcome to the video for Stampers Delight Card Club for June. And this month we are using the Extraordinary Flora bundle, which is on page 84 and 85 of this annual catalogue. And the bundle is a stamp set and a die, and coordinating with that is this gorgeous washi tape, and it's the washi tape really that's going to be the main feature of our projects this month. If you don't have the dies, you won't be able to cut out the little flowers from the washi tape, so you can either cut those out manually by hand, but if you can't be bothered with that because they are quite small, then you'll need to just find something else that you can use to decorate your cards. It could be another stamp, floral dice set and stamp set, or some little flower punches or something else. So, but for now I'm going to show you with the bundle that is featured this month. So as well as your usual card kits and little treat in your box, you have got the following products: a roll of the washi tape. This goes a long way, and it's a lovely wide washi tape, so you can use it to decorate all sorts of things. You've got the loose gold sequins, and we're going to do a lovely shaker card with those, and the gold thread. This is always useful to have in your stash, this kind of thin twine stuff. I'll show you the cards. The first one is this pop-up tower card. It's a hexagonal tower card, and we're using the washi tape almost like a designer series paper. You can decorate the back as well as the front if you want to. Then we have the shaker cards. I've done some die cutting for you already to create these words windows for you using the party banner dies. So those bits are done already, and we're just going to decorate those really simply. And next we have the very simple frame cards. So I've die cut you some white frames, and you can use them whole as a circle like a wreath, or you can cut up the frame to use in two different corners of your card, and just decorate it with the washi tape again. And then finally you have the stamped card. This uses the stamp in the stamp set in two ways. So first of all, I've just stamped it onto beige card with black ink and then coloured using blends. And then this alternative is just stamped with Versamark, added gold embossing powder and heat embossed. So two different looks there from the same stamp. The first thing I'm going to do is prepare some of the flowers ready for decorating my cards later. And I've got these panels in your kit. There's 4 of them. You can stick the washi tape down onto this cardstock for easy die cutting. So when you first open the reel of washi tape, and if you have the die, you just need to figure out where the die lines up with the pattern on the washi tape. And you, on your first pull of the washi tape, you may have some that kind of chop off. So to get where the pattern starts, or where the repeating pattern starts, you just trim off where it's going to cut to. So my first one might be a partial cut, but that's okay because we can get as many out as we can. And now when I get my next one, I should be able to find where that pattern ended again, just about there. So there is a bit of a trick to laying this down flat without creases. The trick is not to stretch it too much when you're unrolling it from the roll, but also don't worry about it too much because you can lift it off really easily and lay it back down again. And then you can use a bone folder or a credit card or a gift card to smooth out any wrinkles. And it might take a couple of goes, the first one, but you'll soon get the hang of it. So fill those 4 sheets of cardstock with your washi tape, and then just use your die and cut them out. And then what you have is plenty of flowers that we can use on the cards later, or on tags, or to decorate anything really. So it's good to have that done at the start. We're going to start with this card, the tower card, and so you'll need the A4 thick white cardstock and the shaded spruce cardstock to cut your layers. You've also got these 4 sheets, which are 10.5 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres, and you are going to put the washi tape on this and trim these strips to size. So I'll do that in a moment, but I'll just show you the card base first of all. Take your A4 white and pop it in your trimmer so the short edge is along the top, so it's portrait, and then cut it down to 14.5 wide, and then rotate it and cut this down to 22 centimetres long. And then with it in the same direction, you're going to score at 3.5, 7, 10.5, 14, 17.5, and 21. And when you fold up along all of those score lines, it will assemble into your tower. With this 1 centimetre tab that you will put glue on and glue down. So I'll do that now before I cut my layers. So I'm just going to use this tape runner just for speed. Fold it down flat over itself and you can pop it up like that. So that's the card base done. I'm going to cut the layers, the green layers. So I need to cut these down to 14 centimetres by 3 centimetres. So I'll just use this side of my trimmer for that. So you want 3 for the front, and if you want to decorate the back as well, you will need 2 for the back, 1 either side of the centre one, which you'll keep plain for writing your message. So I'm just going to do my front because I'm a bit lazy, but feel free to also do the back. Now, taking your pieces of white card and doing what we did before and laying down the washi tape onto it, it doesn't matter so much about where your pattern starts and where it ends, but try to fill the whole length of the cardstock. And once you've got those done, you can chop this down into 3 even strips, and they are going to measure, so just neaten off the edges, but you want them 13.5 centimetres. So you might just want to chop a little bit off the bottom, a little bit off the top to make 13.5, and then hopefully you've got rid of any kind of messy ends. And again, just chop off the edge, and you want 3 strips measuring 2.5 centimetres. There's 1, 2, and 3. You'll get 3 strips out of that piece that you've just stuck down, and then just work out how they go back together again, like that. So we're going to glue these washi strips on to the green layer. And then we're going to glue the strips onto the card. And then we've got this die cut circle. This has been die cut using the Spotlight and Nature dies. You may have a few of these little things to pop out. I'm just going to stamp a simple sentiment onto there. I really like this happy birthday one from Pattern of Friendship. And I'm using shaded spruce ink just to match the card, but you can use any of the colours in the papers. And I'm going to attach that to the card with dimensionals. And I'm going to use a few of my little flowers just to decorate those. And mini dimensionals or part dimensionals are quite good for this. Can have as many or as few as you want on there, and we've got our tower cards. Next up is the shaker card. There's two different versions of this, and there's quite a few different elements here, the bits and pieces that you need. We've got the die cut layer that's already die cut for you, and you should have the little centre for the O as well, which I can't find mine, but I'll find it in a moment. And you've got a window sheet that will fit behind the die cut letters on both. Then you have this white layer here, which will be the backing layer. And you have these smaller white layers, which is what we're going to apply the washi tape to in order to pop behind the windows so you can see through. And in between, we're going to have some of the foam tape, and we're going to add some of the gold sequins. Right, so first things first is to get the card bases cut. So take the 2 bits of cardstock that are in your kit, and we're going to create our DL sized card bases. So these are like the slim card bases, but large ones. And what you need to do is cut this down to 21 centimetres by 21. So it's already 21 centimetres wide, just need to cut it to 21 centimetres long. and score it in half at 10.5. Okay, same with this one. So just cut the length down to 21 and score in half at 10.5. So they're done. I'll just put them to one side. Next, we've got to take these two smaller pieces for the washi tape. So I'm just going to carefully stick my washi tape down, covering these bits. Flip the words over to the reverse and stick the window sheets onto the back. And you just need, honestly, the tiniest few blobs of glue. Please don't use too much because you don't want it squelching out and making a mess of the window sheet. So just a few little blobs. Your window sheet should be a little bit bigger than this. Get the glue dots kind of in between the letters and just close around the edge of the letters, and that should just secure your window sheet in place. Like so. And you can kind of give it a couple of minutes to dry so that it doesn't slide around. And once it's dry, use the foam strips, the foam adhesive strips, to make a little barrier around your letters. So I stay a couple of millimeters away because I don't want to be able to see my foam strips from the other side. But I also don't want to go too far away from the letters because I don't want my sprinkles to be sitting hidden. So kind of maybe maximum of 2 millimeters away. And make sure there are no gaps. You can go in between the letters if you want to. It doesn't matter, but I kind of like, especially on the larger word, a little bit of stability, so that it doesn't sort of flatten in the sink in the middle. So I'm just going to maybe put just a little bit there. Don't want to restrict my sprinkles too much. So that's that one. And just go around the edge and a few in the middle. I've just put a few in between my letters, and now I just need to make sure that this panel here has enough foam strips across the whole piece, just so that everything is at the same level. Just put a little bit up there, and that should be enough. So remove all the backing from these strips You can do this one at a time if you prefer, and maybe get a bit less messy with it. We just don't want our sprinkles to go everywhere. So you can take your time with this bit. So I'm going to pop some sprinkles in each of the compartments. I'm just going to make sure I try not to get the sequin stuck on this tape. Get as much in as you want. And if you've separated the letters, just make sure there's some in each compartment. And again, just make sure that there's none stuck to the foam. And then you're going to carefully lay over your washi tape, flipped over onto the reverse. Just carefully press to make sure you get a good seal, and then turn over, and then you've got your shaker there. Same on this one. And you can add some glue to the back of there and to the back of this bit, and take your layers, your white layers, and just glue these on in the centre. And then they can go on your card bases. So you'll notice with the washi tape, it varies in colour between this petunia pop shade and the strawberry slush shade. So this one's got a bit of both in it, but this one is mainly petunia pop, I think. So I'm going to choose petunia pop for this one, and strawberry slush. There's a bit more strawberry slush on that one. So I can just coordinate my card bases to match. And then finally we can decorate with some of the flowers, the little sprigs. And a little bit of the gold twine. So I quite like to double up the twine and tie a bow with 2 strands. Just a small one. So I'll find the centre of my O in a second, and I'll just put these on first. That will go on last, so that it will glue onto the window sheet here. I'll just use a glue dot to attach my bows. And if you want to add a few more little gold sprinkles, they can go on to a tiny little dab of glue. If you've got take your pick tool, that'll be much easier to just pop them on to where you've added the glue. There's 3 different sizes of these sequins. So they look really pretty in a group of 3 there like that. And there you go, there's your shaker card. These nice and simple cards, you've got 2 layers and a white card base for each card. And the 2 layers and the smaller layers are ones that you can emboss if you want to. So I've used this one that comes from the Garden and something embossing folder bundle. I can't remember what it's called. And this one, which is the 3D mini corrugated one. So I'm just going to run that through like that, and run this through like that, just to get those 2 pieces embossed first of all. And then just going to glue those layers down onto the larger white layers and then straight onto the card base. And then you've got these 2 frames, which I've actually cut out at the same time as the circle from this card. So I just put 3 dies inside each other and ran them through at the same time. So a really good time saver. So the smaller one of the 2, I'm just going to leave a hole like this. And then the larger one, I think I'll put that one on that one. And the larger one, I'm going to cut to size. Now, I should really have done this before I'd glued it down onto the layer, because now I can just cut it exactly to size, but I didn't, so I'm just doing that now. So I'm going to put 1 piece on that corner and 1 piece on this corner, so I will need to cut that off. So I'm just going to use a few little dabs of glue just in between the little cutouts. I will just need enough glue to catch the raised parts of the embossed piece, but and if you find it's not sticking well, just take your block or put something heavy on it until it catches. Right, we can use some of our pretty florals now and go round the wreath. So we can fill that, or we can just do a partial, and the same with this one. I'd just like to arrange a few things in places on this one. And before I stick anything down, I'm going to stamp sentiment. So you've got some strips of white cardstock, and I'm just going to use these 2 stamps in here just to make some cute little sentiments. They're just the right size for these strips. Just cut them at an angle. You can arrange these wherever you want them. And I'm going to, on the back, just put some tape. So use your tear and tape or some of the tape runner. And then take your gold twine and just make a couple of loops around your fingers, cut it off, and then twist it in the middle like a figure of 8, and stick down on the back. And then you can add dimensionals, and then you can attach them to your card and then arrange the flowers around the sentiments. And you can see I've just added a few of the sequins as well, just to add a little bit more extra sparkle. So our stamped card has two colourways. If you don't have this stamp set, use any outline stamp set that you have, and you can do the same technique using anything. So we're going to start with the beige one first, and you want to stamp these two pieces here. Take your black ink or any colour ink, mount your large stamp on a extra large block, or use a stamp positioning tool. And we're just going to ink it up in black ink and stamp both these pieces here. You'll find that the stamp doesn't quite cover the full length of this piece, so I'm just going to go off the edge there. I'll just make sure you put pressure on all parts of the stamp, including the centre. And then I'm just going to ink up this half again and fill in that gap. Didn't quite get this bit here, but that's fine. My ink pad needs re-inking. I think it's not quite inky enough. I'm just going to stamp this strip as well, so I probably need to do the same thing and fill in this end gap here. And then I'm going to take some blend colours and just colour them in. So you can colour them in any colour you like. And this one I did colours taken from the washi tape, to some yellow in there and pinks and 2 or 3 different greens. But I'm going to stick with Pretty Peacock and some bluey greens and the Petunia Pop. So get all those coloured in. So once you've coloured that in, you can take the narrow strip and stick that inside the card. So it is a card that folds over like that, and that can go just in the bottom there. And then you want to glue your gold strip to the back of this panel. I put a few little dobs of glue at the top of the gold strip and lay it on, and then I can just get a little piece that pokes out, and then you can glue that on to the card right at the top, and you've got a little space there for stamping your sentiment with love, and stamp it right there. For the Pretty Peacock version, I've got my Versamark, my gold embossing powder, and I have cleaned off my stamp really well, and I'm just going to stamp in the same way down onto these 2 pieces here. So just ink my stamp up really well. Stamp it once. And just ink up that end bit. just stamp the strip. Grab your heat tool and just heat that until melted. Before I stick anything on, I am going to do my sentiment on the bottom of here in the same way, in the same place. Ink it up in Versamark. Stamp, add powder. So in the same way we did before, I'm just going to put, in fact I'll put a little bit of glue just on the very edge of the back of this piece and glue it down onto the gold strip. Depends how much you want showing, just like a little peek. And then put glue on the back. And glue that to the card front. And then this small panel on the inside. There's all the cards that we've made this month. I hope you enjoyed some of the techniques, and I hope you enjoyed playing with the washi tape as well. You definitely want to stock up on an extra roll for when this one runs out, because it is so gorgeous to play with, and especially being able to, within minutes, create so many little elements for your projects. We will be back next month with this beautiful Boho Vibes Sweet collection. That's what we are basing our projects on. You're going to get some of the papers and the embellishments, some coordinating ribbon, and we will be using this Sunshine Vibes bundle to create the cards. So you'll need to have that to recreate the cards as I've designed them. As always, feel free to do whatever you like with your materials if you don't have this set. So I'll see you next month. Bye for now.